Hi, I'm J.Allan Longshadow and I'm from Motivate Me. I am joined today by Madalina Tanase and Lena Shaqareq to talk about an amazing project they are doing called The Invisible Side of Hope. Madalina, tell me a little bit more about this project. What is it and how did it all begin?
All right, so I can tell you how we got the idea, and then Lena, feel free to jump in. So the idea has always been there, and I think it started maybe 5 or 6 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, when we visited the slums of India. So it's been germinating for all this time. We were very, very impressed with what we saw there. Obviously, the hard conditions, but also more impressed with grit, with people's resilience, with the smiles that we saw in those slums. So I think we've always wondered what's behind those smiles and how can people continue pushing through life. And I think the idea is to give people like this a voice to share their stories and to talk about perseverance instead or in spite of these hard conditions.
Okay.
So a little bit about the project. I think Lena can tell you a little bit more about the project itself.
Lena, please do fill me in on a few more details about what your project looks like.
So just like Maddie said, really that's how it started. But our project right now is kind of the beginning of what we envision as a bigger project. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to go into the different slums and favelas around the world and kind of explore how they are improving their lives, because there's a lot of behind the scenes that we don't see. There's a lot of negative stereotypes associated with those places, and we just want to shatter those stereotypes and show the world the stories behind that, the stories of hope, you know, the social rehabilitation projects that are happening, what they're doing with the kids, you know, all those different projects. So we decided we have to start somewhere. And so we're going into the Rocinha favela, which is right outside of Rio in Brazil. And it is actually the largest favela in Brazil. And I believe, Maddie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's even the 6th largest in the world, right? Sure. Yeah, 6th largest in the world and the largest in Brazil. So it has approximately 180,000 people in such a small kind of quarters, and they kind of just build their houses on top of each other. It's like 11 layers of housing in that small area. So it's kind of a unique setting, and we wanted to start there because there's just a lot of good happening. So we're working with a couple of tour guides to line up interviews to go in and look at what's happening. There's Art Institute projects, there's women empowerment projects, capoeira, which is a very popular, I guess, what do you call it? Like a martial arts.
Martial arts / dance, yeah.
In Brazil, and soccer projects. There's just a lot of good happening. And like Maddie was saying, in spite of their conditions, those people continue to fight for a better life. And we wanted to go in there and show the world what they're actually doing, because especially in the past year and a half, I feel like there's been a lot of negative, a lot of hopelessness in around us, and people are just very stressed over different things. And we just kind of wanted to shed some hope into the world.
It sounds absolutely fantastic. And I love the way you're picking up on the fact there's a very, very human side to these areas and these people. Madalina, tell me that, when are you expecting to go to Brazil for your first recording?
So we are going on November 3rd, and we are going to be there for 4 days. We're going to shoot for 2 days, so the 4th and the 5th really will be shooting days, and saving as a backup plan 1 day, just in case things might happen and we won't be able to be in the favelas, because we told that very rarely violence still happens and sometimes tours are discouraged. So we wanted to make sure that we don't have this, impeding with our documentary. But November 3rd through 7 will be in Rio and shooting in Rocinha.
And I understand you're currently running a crowdsourcing campaign to help raise finance for your project, aren't you?
Yes, it's currently active. We have, I think, almost a couple of weeks left. We might extend it a little bit, but the campaign talks a little more about our team, myself, Maddie, our backgrounds, why we're doing this. It talks about our filmmaker and director who's going to come along with us, and our tour guide who's a part of this project. We're all working together to make this happen. So it's got a lot more information about that, about where the funding will be going. And we've got a lot of great perks for those who are contributing to the crowdfunding campaign as well. And the part that I like the most about the perks is that the perks actually benefit the residents of the favela. So, you know, if you donate something, the perk that comes with it is something that we're getting from the favela. So we're buying the stuff from the people there. They're going to benefit from it. We're not giving people a regular t-shirt that says I contributed. That's just not going to help anybody. So really, we're trying to give back to this community as well as we do this.
So we have really arts and crafts from the favela. We have pieces of art from work, the resident artist, and we're going to shoot at his art school. So that's going to be very, very exciting.
So Madalina, you said you've experienced the slums in India. What was the impact of this on you? How did it impact your life?
I think, first of all, it was an eye-opening, heartbreaking experience for both of us. And I vividly remember we had the tour of the Dharavi slum in India, in Mumbai, which is one of the biggest slums in the world, actually. We had it early in the morning, and then the tour guide dropped us off at our hotel, and we could really not do anything for the rest of the day. We were shocked and very upset for the conditions. What I did immediately was looking up the outsourcing. So what are the big companies that outsource to India that benefit from the people's hard work, when the people really end up getting a few cents at the end of the day. But then life kind of happened, and you get distracted and you continue with your life, right? And you tend not to focus so much on what you saw and do anything about it. So I think that this is our way of kind of just like reverting back to what we've learned and doing something about it this time around.
So we both had health issues, and I think that kind of threw us off a little bit. And I think just coming back to it, we kept thinking we've had health issues, we're distracted in life, woe me kind of attitude for a little while of trying to cope with things. And then we just kind of thought about them and like, well, those people in worse conditions than ours, and they still have smiles on their faces, they're still living their life. And that's kind of what kind of spurred us to get back into this project again.
I think it's fantastic that you've harnessed your own experiences. And I know from speaking to you both in the past that you are both absolutely warrior women, but to use and channel that energy into helping others, I think is a fantastic thing to do. Do you think that certainly in the Western world, so for us here in Britain or in America, that there's a somewhat sensationalized image of these kind of places portrayed in Hollywood? Madalina, what do you think? Do you think that these slums, they're almost exploited, I think, in some ways for Hollywood films, that they create probably a very inaccurate picture?
I mean, when you think about films like the Slumdog Millionaire, which is based on a true story, but I personally like that film because it shows us a lot that comes out from the slums. But I feel like what people see in movies in Hollywood is the negative side of this. There's not a lot that shows the other side. I mean, I love that movie because it does show what can actually come out. But then again, you know, when you think of that movie, what did everybody think about that kid? They thought he was cheating. Why? Because he came from those parts. And so that's what we want to show, that there's a lot of good that's happening there. A lot of smart people, just like anywhere else.
So you're kind of telling the story from the inside rather from the outside looking in then, isn't it? So we're going to wrap up in a moment. Time is running out, but where do people go if they want to support your project and get involved?
So our crowdfunding campaign, I mean, we can send you the link if you want. It's in Indiegogo, and that's where we have our crowdfunding campaign. And the title is The Invisible Side of Hope. So they could probably search it that way, but we can send you the link and you can post it and they can just click on it, and it's fast access to the campaign.
That's fantastic. So that is The Invisible Side of Hope. And what a powerful name for your campaign as well. I wish you both the very best of success with this project. I'm really excited to see how it develops, and I'm hoping I can check in with you a little bit further down the line and find out how you have progressed. In the meantime, best of luck with the crowdfunder. I hope you achieve your goals.
Thank you so much, Alan, for having us.
Thank you, Alan.
Very welcome.
Thank you much.